Hello everyone. We're going to start our first session with Prashant Ishan. Is an AWS serverless hero and working in Anstack.io as a chief technology officer. He's really into serverless, AWS, Architect, React, and many more. He started his journey in 2005 and helped a lot of giant customers across different companies. He's with us today, and he's talking about DynamoDB simplified mental model to approach DynamoDB data modeling. Let's put our hands together for Prashant. Yes.
Thank you for the introduction, Vaishnavi and Angel. Today, I am going to talk about DynamoDB data modeling. And generally, when you look at DynamoDB and data modeling, it's kind of you need to wrap your head around it. There are a lot of new concepts, especially for somebody who is coming from SQL to NoSQL, something like MySQL to DynamoDB. It's very hard to visualize how to model the data, and you are thrown with a lot of documentation and everything which you do not really understand at the beginning. And I have gone through this journey myself, and that made me think, how can I simplify this, and how can I make this visually appealing and visually understandable in people's heads, so when they're modeling data for DynamoDB next time, they can clearly visualize in their head how they should approach it. So that was the whole agenda of this talk. Before I start, I would like to thank Nitin Chandran, who is my colleague from the creative team, for putting together a lot of illustrations for this talk. Because this talk is mostly storytelling, not really, very technically oriented. I want to take approach of storytelling and explain the concepts through storytelling. So thanks to Nitin for creating those visualizations for me. Yeah, you already heard my introduction. I am co-founder and CTO of Antstack, which is a serverless focused consulting and development firm. I'm also one of the AWS serverless heroes and also part of AWS user group Bangalore. I love cycling, trekking, and I'm big into low carb diet. I'm also a psychology freak. So that's a little bit about me. So with no further this thing, let's go ahead with the talk. So when you get into the DynamoDB, when you begin with DynamoDB, you get to hear all these different terminologies or jargons, right? Sort key, partition key, single table data modeling, GSI, and data duplication, and so many other different things. And for somebody new, it is kind of very hard to digest all this information and make sense of it. So what we are going to do today is, let's forget all of that for next 10, 15 minutes and just go through a simple real world story and understand how that story how that story can fit into DynamoDB data modeling. So let's go with the story of a principal and a clerk. So the principal is asking, get me all the student files who are in CS, right? So this is an engineering college where there is computer science, EC, a lot of different branches, right? So the principal is asking the clerk, give me all the files of CS department, student files. So right now the clerk is looking at the files. The problem with the files is all the files are in one large box, and it consists CS, EC, mechanical, all the different files from the different departments, different students. Now, for him to get back with only CS department files, it is not segregated in any way. It's all in the single box. So what he has to do now is he has to go through each and every file which is there in this large box, and then see if it is CS, then keep it aside. See if it is CS and keep it aside. If it is not, keep it away, and then collect all the CS files and give it back to principal. So this guy is like thinking, oh God, if principal is going to ask me this every day, I don't want to be doing this every day. I don't want to go through each and every file all the time to get back, say, CS file. Tomorrow, principal may ask, give me EC files, and day after he may ask, give me mechanical student files. So he knows that this is going to be a repeatable request from principal. So he's thinking, how do I figure this out? How do I sort it in a way where next time principal asks something like this, I can get the files easily and give it to principal. So with that, what he does is, I think this is something which all of us could think easily, that create separate boxes instead of having all the files in a large box. We create separate boxes. So he goes ahead and creates separate boxes, and for once he goes through all files and keeps it in respective boxes. So he keeps all the EC files in EC, CS files in CS, IS files in IS. So the next time when principal asks, give me this particular department files, he does not need to go through all the files to figure out what is CS. He can just go to CS box, take it, and give it to principal. So that's what he does. So he spends that initial effort to create boxes of these files, create departmental boxes, so that when next time principal asks, give me these files, he can just give those files which principal needs without having to go through all the files, right? So now he is happy. Okay, I figured this out. Next time principal asks, I'm going to just go to the box and give it to him. But what principal does next time is, he is asking a particular student file from CS department. Maybe that guy's parents are in the office and they want to see how their son is doing. So maybe principal is asking, now clerk, get me the student file. Now again, the clerk has files arranged in CS, EC, IS. But within CS, to get this particular student's file, he has to go through all the files in CS to get to that John, right? It can be anywhere in this chunk. So he has to go through one by one. Is it John? Is it John? Is it John? And if it is not, then he needs to move on. And when he finds John, he can pull it out and give it to principal. But again, this is very time consuming. He's thinking, okay, tomorrow some other parents may come and they will again ask their son or daughter's file, and principal will ask me to bring that file. And if I going to keep doing this is not the right way. So what do I do? He keeps thinking. So after thinking a lot, what he does is, inside the CS, EC, IS box, he arranges the files based on the name, right? So it is alphabetically arranged, A to Z, right? So when principal asks, give me John's file, he can quickly get to John without having to skim through each and every file, because he's now sorted it by the name of the student. So with that, he is able to get to that file very quickly, and he gives it back to principal. So now he's like very, very happy. Like, I sorted everything. Ask me a department files. I can easily get that to you. Ask me a student file. I can get that easily to you. So now he's like, bring it on, ask me more and more stuff. I have completely optimized the way I store files so that I can get to you really, really quick. But principal is not done. He still has more ways to ask for files, which the clerk has not thought about. So let's see what that is. So now this is a big bouncer coming from principal. What he's asking this time is, get me all the student files who play basketball. Now this guy has sorted everything based on department. Now basketball, now how do I do that? Now clerk is thinking again, because basketball can be anywhere. It can be a CS student, it can be an EC student, it can be an IS student. He is thinking, how do I do this now? Because he needs to now go through each and every department, each and every file, to see if they play basketball and pull that file out. So he's thinking, this is going to be a nightmare because it's not going through files in a single department. It is going through all files of all department to get back that files of students who play basketball. And he thinks if the principal is asking basketball today, tomorrow he may ask cricket, tomorrow or he may ask badminton. So he knows there may be more such requests coming in from the principal. So what does he do? So he's thinking again, like, what do I do? How do I figure this out? Last couple of cases were easier because you could just create a box, then you could arrange the files in certain order to get to the files very quickly. But this is something which it's very hard for him to digest. Like, how do I optimize this? Then suddenly he thinks of a very interesting idea. He remembers there is a photocopy machine in the office. So he's like, can I use this photocopy machine and do something with it to optimize this request from the principal? So what he does is, for one time, he goes through all the files, sees if the student played any sport, whether it is basketball, cricket, badminton, whatever that is. If they played that sport, then what he did, using this photocopy machine, he makes a copy of that file, and he makes a copy of that file and keeps it in another box. So let's see what that box is. Yeah. So if the student played one of the sports, what he did, he took a photocopier and copied that file and kept that in another box, which is designated for that particular sports. So the main file remains in the respective department box like CS, ECIS, but a copy of that file is now sitting in another box based on sports. So in this case, we have boxes of tennis, badminton, cricket, basketball. So now he's like fully happy again. Finally, I was able to organize it in a much better way, and he's happily, he's happily now gives that file back to the principal. So this is the journey so far in terms of storytelling. Now we have a clerk who optimized how he stored, how he kept the files, organized the files based on what the principal was asking. Now let's use this and apply it into how it translates to DynamoDB principles, right? So let's take the first scenario where there is one large box and all the files are in it, right? So here there is no segregation of files and everything is in one large box. This is comparable to something like using UUID as a partition key. Just a bit of water. Especially a lot of people coming from the MySQL world or SQL world, they tend to create partition key with UUID. But it means nothing in the NoSQL world because you are going to end up creating this exact scenario. You are going to have very large box with all the files sitting in it, and you cannot really use it to query in any way, right? Because nobody is ever going to ask, give me this file with this UUID unless they already have that UUID with them, right? Because it's some long string gibberish which does not have any business data in it, right? So this is the kind of situation you'll end up with if you create table with UUID as the partition key, where you have large box with all the files in it with no way of querying that DynamoDB table. So when clerk creates these separate boxes for each department, now what we are doing essentially is based on our access pattern, which is the principal is going to always ask for department. So what we are doing essentially here in the DynamoDB world is creating a partition key based on the department, because now that we know the department is going to be the a way principal is going to ask files for, we create partition key based on that. And here now we have boxes, we have partition key, but at the same time, we do not have a way to access a single file uh, directly, right? Because we only have partition key. In real world, you cannot use just partition key uh, because it needs to be unique. So it is a combination of partition and sort key, which needs to be unique. So here we do not have access to that particular file directly with just partition key. So what we are going to do now is add a sort key, right? So in this case, sort key is based on name. So whenever you query within the partition key, give me all the files of CS department, that means the return will be sorted based on the name, right? So because we added the sort key as name, so whenever you query, you will get A to Z as the result set. What that also enables us to do is we can now get to the exact file very easily by passing both partition key and sort key. So in this case, we can say, give me the student file of John from CS department. So your partition key is going to be department, which is CS, and sort key is going to be your name, which is John, provided hypothetically that the combination of the department and the name is unique, right? If there are like two Johns, then probably you need to use in the CS department, then probably you need to have initials for them or first name, last name combination, something like that to make sure the combination is unique. So in a nutshell, by adding sort key, we define two things. One is the result set coming from a partition will be sorted based on the sort key, in this case, the name. And also by passing the partition key plus sort key, we can actually get the file directly without having to go through each and every file inside the partition. So now we have global secondary indexes, right? So whenever we have a pattern which is not supported by the partition key, like in this case, we have partition key as department, but what principal is now asking is give me files based on sport. So since we don't have that capability, query capability from our partition key, because that is department, now what we can do is create an index called global secondary index. It's kind of a copy of the main table, but which will have a different partition key and the sort key. So you can create an index in DynamoDB and say, okay, for this index, I want the partition key to be sports type, and the sort key can be whatever you want to keep. It can be a name again, or it can be anything else you would like. So what happens is whenever we write a record to DynamoDB, it is going to automatically look if if it has the sports field. If it does, it is going to create a copy of that in this GSI and keep that separate, keep that available for you to do querying. So when we are doing the query to DynamoDB, we can mention whether we want to query the main table or we want to query the GSI by passing a small flag in our query. So this again stops clerk from doing this mundane thing of going through each and every file. This is literally in the DynamoDB world as well. If you look at it, if you did not have this GSI, then what was supposed to be happening was you do the DynamoDB scan. That means the DynamoDB is going to go through each and every file in the table, and then you apply a filter on top of it. So that means it has gone through all the files. Now you apply a filter. If the sports is basketball, return that. So that means DynamoDB went through each and every file to figure out which files had basketball in it. But by creating this GSI, we avoid that entirely, and we only get the files which are required. So this will also greatly reduce the cost of operation, because if we do the scan, then DynamoDB is going to charge based on the result set. So if a table had say 1,000 files, and you did a query for say basketball players, maybe there were like 10 people in that 1,000 files, 1,000 records, and DynamoDB, since it has to do the scan, it goes through all the 1,000. So you are charged for the result set of 1,000 records to get only 10 records. So it's completely bad in terms of uh, your query, because your query is going to take a lot of time, at the same time cost. So it's very important we optimize for access patterns. So the key takeaways from this talk is, what is partition key, what is sort key, what are the indexes like GSI, and how to organize model data based on access patterns and not based on, if you come from SQL world, you have the tendency to just go ahead and create tables, create relationships, and you don't really care about how the data is going to get accessed. You only care about how you put together the data. So in case of NoSQL and DynamoDB in specifically, you need to think about how the people are going to access the data. So it's all dependent on access pattern. The principal is the person, or in this case, user, right, who is going to access the data. So you need to think through the point of view of from the user, and think about how they are going to access your data, what kind of, and simulate, visualize in your head what kind of queries that is going to translate to, and then optimize data, optimize your DynamoDB based on that. So, and optimizing, not optimizing for access pattern and just going and creating something like, partition key as UID and not worrying about your access patterns, that is going to cause you a lot of inefficiency, both in terms of your query time as well as your cost. With that, I am open for questions.
All right. Thank you so much, Prashant. That was a wonderful session. Angel?
Okay. Okay. Before we move on to Q&A, I think we have a quick final session relating to the topic, and actually this for the audience. And I think the link will be shown the screen soon. Okay.
Yeah, there was a question which says, what is GSI, right? What is GSI? So GSI is Global Secondary Index. So if I go back here, so visually you can think, these department boxes as partitions, the main partition keys, and the GSI is an index, right? So what's an index? It's literally, you want to have an access pattern which is not supported by your partition. So in this case, the clerk has made the partition as department, right? CS, ECIS. But the principal is asking for basketball players, which is not supported by the main partition. So that is why he's going to create a copy of it in another box, and then use that to access those sports-based files. So essentially in DynamoDB, we are going to create a copy of the main table into a secondary table called GSI. And there we can arrange it in a different way we want. So in this case, we are arranging it for sports. And next time when we query, we can use this copy data instead of the main data to query easily for the files which we are looking for. I hope that answers your question, Pinky Sarkar.
Okay, that was really wonderful. And let's see if you have any more questions. Okay, we got one question. What string used to connect DynamoDB?
It is not a string per se. You will have to use AWS SDK, so of DynamoDB, through which you can pass your query, you can pass your table name and everything, and then you get back the result set. So you can also perform many different operations through SDK. For example, when you have to go through each and every file to get back the result, which is not ideal, it's called DynamoDB scan, which goes through each and every file, which is going to give you result of the entire table, right? It's basically giving you result of the entire table. But whenever you are operating on a particular partition, like give me files of CS or something like that, then what we perform is a DynamoDB query, right? So uh, the query requires that you pass a partition key. So the query is within that particular partition key. So when you say partition key as CS, then the query gets limited to that only that box, which is the CS box, right? You cannot get access to access files from other department when you send the partition as CS, for example. So that is your DynamoDB query, and then you also have get item, put item to write into DynamoDB and get a particular record from DynamoDB, etc., etc. You can look at AWS SDK documentation for all the available APIs with DynamoDB, which you can use.
Okay, thank you, Prashant. Okay, our next question is, any security measures to be taken while using DynamoDB?
This is from Rishikesh. Very, very good question, Rishikesh. So when using DynamoDB, it is advised that you don't access DynamoDB directly from your front end. So for example, if you're building an application using React or Angular or something like that, it's better to have a middle layer backend which will interact with DynamoDB, not directly from your front end. For example, in a typical use case in serverless world, what we do is we create an API using Node.js and Lambda functions on the cloud side. So from the front end, you are going to ask the create HTTP request to your Lambda function, and the Lambda function is going to interact with the DynamoDB. So it's very important that those DynamoDB credentials are not leaked into front end, because that can be used to steal your data and attack DynamoDB. So that's very important when it comes to security. So as long as you are accessing the DynamoDB from within the cloud, it's totally fine.
Okay, thank you, Prashant. Next question. How can we take replicate backup of data in DynamoDB?
Hi, Abid. That's a very, very nice question. So in AWS, DynamoDB supports natively. You can just enable backup and snapshotting with a click of a button in the management console. So by doing so, you can enable timely backup of DynamoDB within AWS console itself. And what's interesting about this is it has I don't know exact terminology, but it's called something like just-in-time recovery. So what you can do is, say something bad happens, you lose your data or you mess up your data, then you can actually tell, I want to restore data back to this particular point. Say you know that at 1 p.m. in the afternoon there was some mess which happened. So you can actually say, I want to recover the database to the point in time recovery, not just in time, point in time recovery. So you can say, I want to recover the data to 1258, whatever it was at the point of 1258, and you can easily do that using if you have enabled snapshotting in DynamoDB.
Okay, we got our next question. Can we have more than one partition key?
Hi, Nikhil. Very good question. Uh, you cannot have more than one partition key in a DynamoDB. It's in a single DynamoDB table. Like for example, in this clerk example, we can department as the partition key, right? So inside the department, it can be CS, ECIS, so many other things. But department is the only partition key which we can have. We cannot have sports as a partition key, for example, since we already have department. That is the reason why we have
I think Angel, his network connection
And it's lost, I think.
has broken, right? Can we reach out to him again after a while?
Okay.
Okay, maybe we should just wait for a minute before.
Okay, we can wait for 5 minutes.
Okay. I'll just meanwhile try looking something up in the back end. 1 second.
Okay.
All right, so I think there's some network issues from Prashant's end. We're very sorry to the audience for this mess up, but I'm sure he'll be taking questions offline as well. So we've added up all your questions. We'll be giving it to him offline and he'll be making sure to answer them. All right, so as we know, the quiz is
There is no compression algorithm for experience. Def and test. Def and test. Def and test are the most important workloads. Dance like nobody's watching. 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 Encrypt like everyone is.